open her up?
Okay. Which one do you have?
There it is.
There's my baby.
A lot lighter than the Z9.
Oh yeah. A lot less stuff there.
Yeah. Wow, that feels
Good though.
really
I was about to
nice.
say, it looks like it fits in the hand really nice. So.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. It's like my D810.
The black frame.
She's gorgeous. There we go. Gotta get that shot.
Yep.
Take it
See ya.
easy. Good. Which is good. Got some feels for it.
So I just picked up the Nikon Z8 from the Shutterbug in Portland, Oregon, and we're headed out to take some photos. This is basically a mini Nikon Z9, and it's just incredible. It's smaller, lighter, and importantly, cheaper. So we're gonna see what this thing can do. So I can definitely tell that the Z8 is a much lighter camera than the Z9. This thing is much easier to carry around, especially just holding it in one hand while I'm talking like this. It isn't really getting heavy at all, and I can hand hold it for a long time without getting tired. I couldn't say the same of the Z9, which is a very heavy camera. Don't get me wrong, I love that about the Z9. I value its weight, its heft. It's a really cool camera, but sometimes you really want something a little bit more lightweight and portable, like the Z8. So from a comfort perspective, how the camera feels to hold in your hand, the Z8 is very comfortable for me, despite my giant meaty claws, which is what I have for hands. So if you have large hands, this is definitely a good camera for you. However, it's not as comfortable as the Nikon Z9, which has an enormous tall grip, which gives my fingers plenty of space to spread out. The Z9 is the most comfortable camera I've ever held. The grip on that thing is amazing. But the Z8 is a very close second, and it is more comfortable than any camera other than the Z9 that I've ever used. So in terms of battery life, the Z8 uses the same battery as the Z6 and the Z7. And paired with the same high performance features as the Z9, it's going to chew through that battery pretty darn fast. So the Z9 definitely has an advantage with this gigantic battery over the Z8. The Z9 has an absolutely gigantic battery that can last for days on end without recharging. That thing is really a monster. However, that extra battery does add a lot of extra weight, which is just a trade-off you have to make. So in terms of battery life, the Z8 is so-so, but it gets the job done. You just have to carry extra batteries. out with the Z8 on the Nikon 800mm f6.3, one of my absolute all-time favorite lenses and kind of the ultimate lens for birding, taking pictures of all the amazing little birds that come to our feeders and hang out in our yard. We got a bunch of nesting here, so there's lots of great opportunities. But anyway, using the Z8 on the 800 6.3 is a really great experience. Previously, I'd only ever used this lens with the Z9, and the whole kit was extremely heavy. The lightweight of the Z8, it makes the 800 6.3 a lot even more hand-holdable than it was before. This has always been a lens I've considered to be hand-holdable. It's I use it most frequently just handheld, taking pictures of birds, video of birds, and it's really easy when it's even lighter with the Z8 versus the Z9. Now, I will say that with the Z9, the whole setup is more balanced. This is very front heavy now. With the Z9, it balances much more evenly, but the lightweight kind of makes up for that. You kind of have a trade-off there. Yeah, let's go take some pictures of birds. So this is a great opportunity to show off the Z8 with the 100mm macro lens. This is an absolutely gorgeous little caterpillar right here, but you can only really see how vivid the colors are and how complex the patterns are on it with a really close-up macro shot. So let's get some photos. So there are a couple big changes to the control scheme of the Z8, the most noticeable of which is the removal of the large dial on the top left-hand side. Now you just have 4 buttons, and you depress one and turn the dial on the right-hand side to change settings. The change, though, that I really like is what they've done with the photo and video mode selector switch. Now the little knob here points to the side towards where your thumb is, rather than straight up. So it is much easier to switch from photo to video mode. And it's a small change, but that is one that really, really makes a difference. And I'm really glad that Nikon has made that change. You do, of course, have a few less buttons than you'd have on the Z9, but overall, I really like the control scheme of the Z8. So in terms of image quality, the Z8 is every bit the equal of the Z9. It's got the same sensor, same processor, and it is truly fantastic. The images it produces are beautiful. Photo quality is just superb, and so is video quality. In terms of just the 45 megapixel still photos, 8K 60 frames per second, raw video recording capability, you really couldn't ask for more in a camera. So yeah, in terms of image quality, the Z8 absolutely rocks. On the topic of video recording, in addition to the 8K 60 frames per second RAW capability that I mentioned, these Nikon Z8 can also shoot in 4K at up to 120 frames per second, and this looks absolutely great. Its 4K 120 footage is just excellent quality, way better than you would get from a smaller sensored camera like a smartphone or something. A lot of cameras can record slow motion video, but few can record it well, and the Nikon Z8 captures really spectacular looking slow-mo, and I use it all the time for wildlife, just general nature footage, and for travel. You can capture some really compelling looking footage handheld with the Z8, and it's just an amazing video camera overall. This is one of the best cameras you can get if you want to record professional looking video footage. So in terms of price and value, the Nikon Z8 will set you back $4,000, which is quite a lot of money, but it's also a bargain because this is one heck of a camera, and it's the equivalent in terms of its features of the Nikon Z9, which is a $5,500 camera. So if you look at it like that, it's cheap at the price. At $4,000, that is relatively cheap. And it's way better than any camera in that price bracket from Canon or Sony. So yeah, I would say it's an excellent value for money, even though it does cost quite a lot of money. So after a couple weeks with the Nikon Z8, I think I can pretty safely say that this is practically the perfect camera. I absolutely adore it. It goes everywhere with me now, more so than my Nikon Z9, just because of the lightweight. It's very much easier to carry around with me. It's really nice with this Nikon 300 PF lens. It's a older f-mount lens, just an awesome lens, but it really bounces very well as they walk around. Wildlife lens, though I would really love to get that 400mm f4.5 to go with it. Might have to change this lens out for that. Not quite sure yet, but in any case, my conclusion is that the Nikon Z8 is highly recommended. And thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all again next time. Bye!